So, what I wanted to do with this van, and I've done it on another van, is have a surveillance camera system running. And due to the type of work I do, sometimes there's expensive gear in the van, and so that's one reason. But also, especially in the other van, which was an Hyundai iLoad, I had the 360 view, bird's eye view type camera system in that. I put it in, I rigged it up so that it was running 24/7 off the house battery, not off the car battery, and it recorded to an SD card. I generally got about 2 days recording before it overwrote previous data, and it was really handy. And it was, whilst I never had anything stolen, it was nice to know that it was there. And when I was doing a bit of stealth camping in suburban streets and things like that, with no windows, totally blacked out, creepy crawly type stuff, it was good to be able to turn the TV on and see all around the vehicle and see what noises were going on and that sort of thing. So this time I wanted to achieve the same result, but with better imagery and less fuss. Because setting up the 360 camera, so all the cameras stitched and gave you that bird's eye view, was a bit tricky. Calibrating it, you're out in the car park, you got these big checkerboards, you're trying to tweak it all together. It was a pain in the ass, and then in the end, because the front camera was down low in the grille and the rear camera was up high, they were never ever going to stitch perfectly. And as it turned out, the one in the rear, the tiny little bracket that was on, got rusty and broken. It's still there, hanging in, but it went out of whack. So I was going to forget about doing that. So this time I've just gone for 4 cameras, north, east, southwest orientation. They're all roughly up high. I've done some of this install already the other day, but I thought I'd just recap what I've done. So I went with the Joinlgo. No idea if that's how you say it. It's a Chinese brand, and this is the HD mobile DVR model. It comes with 4 cameras. You can get 2, you can get 4, you can get 8. You know, they're designed for buses and trucks and things like that, so they're really cool from that perspective. But some of the other things that I liked about this one was my experience with the other cameras is that the tiny little micro SD card can fail. I've probably gone through 3 in 5 years, so I get sort of a year out of it. They're constantly recording data 24/7, so it's a lot of work for a little SD card. Occasionally it got corrupted, I'd have to reformat. Not such a big issue, but I did go through 3 cards. So in this fit out, I thought I'd go with a more stable recording mechanism. So this one here, this is the unit. It's quite big. I mean, the other one was tiny. It was like a pack of cigarettes, or half the pack. Whereas this one here it accepts 2 standard SD cards, or you can go with, or both. You can go with actually a solid state drive, and I just so happen to have a solid state drive kicking around, 500 gigabyte solid state drive. So I've whacked that in and formatted, and it's working perfectly. So I can get, I don't know how many days, but I'll get a lot of time recording onto that one. It's also 1080, whereas the other one was 720. So the image is a lot sharper compared to that previous one that I have in the other van. Some of the other benefits of this this unit is that, excuse the wiring, but it also has a whole stack of other cool features. One is it's got GPS, so it's got a GPS antenna which I've got stuck up on the windscreen, which allows you to do all the GPS stuff you normally would do. I'll get to more of that in a minute. But I'll talk about the Wi-Fi. It also has Wi-Fi. So there's a little Wi-Fi antenna just stuck up in here. So I can connect to the system via my phone. And also, if I tether my phone to the unit, anyone with permission can track the vehicle via that GPS. So the data and analytics that it's recording is amazing. Speed, time stopped, time started, whether it's gone through red lights. I don't know how to do it. A lot of it I haven't looked into yet, but it's pretty amazing. It also has a mic input, so you can listen to what's going around the van, and it also has an AV out as well. So I can do something with that. I don't know what I can do actually. Maybe talk to people on the outside. But yeah, there is a talk feature actually. It's separate. But the other feature I was really keen on was, aside from having the monitor up on the dash, I can also have a separate monitor run to, say, the bedroom, where I can monitor what's going on without having to get out of bed. And that's done via a HDMI cable. And I presume that's what the AV out is also. So essentially I could have 3 monitors, I think. Definitely 2, which is really, really handy. So that was the main feature of that. This is the front of the unit. You lift that up, you whack your SD cards in or your solid state drive, you lock it off, and away you go. It has the status on here, whether the GPS is running, whether it's recording, power, and Wi-Fi. And you can control it via a mouse. So it comes with a mouse for setting up menus and all that sort of stuff. Alternatively, you can use the remote control, which is what you would normally use, and it has all the features that you would want on there, such as going to camera 1, 2, 3 and 4, or you can look at the quad view of all the cameras, which is probably what you normally do, plus set it all up. It is designed to do pan, zoom, tilt, but not on this van. So, excuse all the wiring. The obvious place for it was to put it in one of these little pigeonholes that the crafter has. The other one goes in there like that. And I've got my sunnies in it at the moment. They pop out pretty easy and they fall out even easier. But there is this bracket. I don't know if you can see it actually. Let me chopper you over. Okay, not sure if you can see, but there is a shelf with a U-shaped bracket that goes back up into the top part of the cabinet, and it does get narrow, it tapers off. So I've hacksawed that off in there so that I've got a nice deep cavity. Still got the shelf that the unit will sit on. There's actually a ton of room in here, you know, and I've got my little Wi-Fi antenna stuck in there, so heaps of room once you get in there. The trick is to get the opening big enough. So the unit itself is, oh, it's so damn tight. It goes, and I've had it in there, but the little feet on the side just hang down sort of 3 mil. So utilizing the existing rebates here for the drawer that goes back in, I only had to chop out that little bit there, and it goes in quite easily. I know it's a bird's nest, but I did want to have enough cabling to, if I needed to at some point, I can do exactly what I'm doing here. I can pull the whole thing out and work on it and not be trying to plug cables in tucked up in there, which would be a real pain. But anyway, let's turn it on. I've just made up a little dodgy cigarette lighter cable, and to turn it on, boom, boom, we've got little lights coming on here, and that should go into boot mode. There we go. Alright, it comes with a 1080 by 620 screen, this one. I think that's I don't know, a 7-inch monitor, and it's really sharp. Compared to my little HDMI one that I have made by Aptur for my filming, it's the same quality. It's amazing. So it's really cool. So sorry about the chopper ride again, but I know you can't see it back there. So here we go. So I've got 3 cameras hooked up at the moment. So the front, the rear, and the left hand side. I haven't done the driver's side yet because I'm not real sure how that's going to attach. Speaking of attachment, let's go outside. So attachment of the little cameras at this point in time has been with, you know, really strong grippy Velcro. So I'm coming out on the passenger side for us in Australia with the cabling, and it's all really temporary at the moment, but it just comes around and out here. It will eventually, these cables will route down and then loop up, and that's how I've run it in the other van successfully for about 5 years. The Velcro idea is a bit of a test to see, one, how long it stays there, but also it helps you aim them up. You've got these little ball and socket type camera in the housing, and unfortunately the adjustment screws is really the pressure plate on the base, so you've sort of got to get it roughly in the right spot and hold it there, tweak it, and looking at the screen and getting it right. So it's a bit fiddly, but so that's temporarily there. And the right hand side one, I'm thinking of running on the inside, and it will exit out through the sliding door and track up through here and actually lie across the roof. Now, it's not ideal, but the reason is I'm going to have a roof box up here, and it will be travelling and strapped to the roof box and attached to the roof box on the other side, and this one may also be on that roof box as well. The rear one is a little bit more permanent, so I've again brought the cabling down along this side, getting a better position, hang on. So it's going down through here. This side's where most of the electricals from the back end go. Very little goes down the driver's side. So I've followed their route because I can't really change this, so I might as well use it. I'm going to have to trim it out differently to the other side. So it's coming along, goes in there. So it goes down here, exits out through the tail light, which is really easy to do, and then it comes up within the door gunnel and it goes up in here. Now it's a bit dark in here, I do have other footage, but again it's on a Velcro attachment, and it sees right down to the bottom of the bumper bar and out across the street. So it's in a good spot as far as a view goes, and I will eventually stick these wires into that gunnel. They don't actually get compressed or anything, so that's a good spot for it. So in order for this to work, I've got my temporary power coming from there. Alright, I did have another one hooked up the other day, and the cabling coming out of the cigarette lighter was really thin, and as a result, whilst it would power this, it wouldn't reliably power the screen. The screen would just constantly power on, power off. Probably should have mentioned with the kit you get, how many of these? You get three 10 metre bundles of AV cabling, more than enough to go the length of this vehicle, and you know, the vehicle's sort of 5 metres, 6 metres long, so there's heaps of cable, probably too much at times. So don't worry about that. And so you get 3 of those, and you get one 5 metre cable, which is for the front camera, which would get you to the, you know, down on the front bumper bar and back in, pretty much. In my case, it goes to the front screen. It goes about that far, and the cable on the actual camera is about that long, and I want it to go that far. Like I said, I want to be able to pull the unit out and work on it if I need to without being restricted, trying to get to these screw attachments, which I do like. I like the fact that it has screw attachments to all the extension bits, which is a strong point. Sorry about the bumpy ride, but on the previous unit that I installed, they were tiny little 4-pin things that clipped in, and whilst they're nice and small and easy to tuck away, the connection points are very small and easy to pop out. And when you've got wires everywhere, the last thing you want to do is trying to work out where the weak link is. So here's a close-up of the cameras that I chose to get with it. Now there is another model, and you've probably seen them before, and they're a square one. They've got a few LEDs in them for night vision. They've got the little sunshade on them, and I have that particular type on the other van for one of the cameras, and I don't like it. They're bulky, they rust, and they only go up and down. These go all around. You can manipulate where these point. So these are great. They're really solid, and that back plate puts pressure on a rubber pad which locks it into position. So it's a little bit hard to get the adjustment right, so you get the right angle on the screen, but once you've got it there, it's good. So that little ball pops out, no problem. The downside of these is the wires are fully encased, and these are heat welded on, so you can't unscrew this section and you can't unscrew that section. And why would you want to do that, you might ask? Well, you might want to get a rubber grommet on here, so you make a penetration in your vehicle skin, and you want to thread through the skin and back to the unit, so that you're not doing that external cabling, which I'm doing on mine, obviously. I have seen them where they come with a grommet pre-attached, but I still wouldn't be confident. I've used grommets before, and eventually they perish, and then you've now got yourself a water problem coming in to your van. So I'm fine with having the cabling exit the vehicle through one of the door seals, and I know for a fact that that's how the police in New South Wales do it, and also the ambulance organisations do it too. They run them all just out through the rubber seal of their vehicles and onto the roof that way. So if it's good enough for them, it'll be good enough for me. And like I said, on the other vehicle I haven't had an issue with it being a leak point, except for where I have drilled a hole and threaded a cable, because I was able to undo the wiring and poke just the wire through a grommet through the skin of the vehicle. So I've avoided doing that on all these ones so far, and I'll do the same on this. This is going to go on the driver's side, but it will exit there and go up and over the roof, and be bolted either onto or velcroed onto the skin of the van, or bolted onto the box that's going up on top via the roof rack. So that's that. So they're good. It has crossed my mind, and I can swap these out for ones that are a little bit chunkier. These are 6 centimeters wide. I can go for one that's 8 centimeters wide, has a bigger ball, because the ball houses half a dozen LEDs, so you get your night vision. So I'm thinking maybe that's what I will do for the 2 sides at least. I might go down that route. So that's them, and seriously, they're about 36 bucks if you want to swap them out. So you just buy the kit and then spend a little bit extra on the cameras that you want, and they're pretty generic. You know, there's really, what is there? I think there's 3, maybe 4 wires, but there's a power, positive, negative, and video. So 3 wires. Some have 4, but these are 4-pin. Okay, well, this is the microphone unit that comes with it. This is your mic. This goes into the unit, into the talk space spot, which is there. Okay, and then that one goes to a speaker. So that's what that is. It's getting power off the unit. That's what the red one is. The white is typically audio, and so this would enable you to power a speaker of some sort, I believe. Okay, so I might as well show you. I'm trying to get this AV cable through this passenger side, through this interior lining cowling, and over to there. Now, I'm 6'1". I've got a pretty good reach. I've got about 180 mil, sorry, 1800 of reach, but I can't quite get them about that short. So it's a pretty common trick. Some call it a fish stick, you know, or a tape puller, or some sort of mechanism where I attach that and then I just increased my reach. So that's what I'm going to do, and as you can see, I'm going to make it quite easy once I do that. So that's just a little tip, is to attach your cabling to a stick to push it through the gunnels and all that sort of thing. You can do the same with the insulation if you're trying to get it into these, you know, these structures here. You can tape a bit of insulation and just pull it through, push it through, pull it through. You probably saw me doing it on the back doors with the insulation, so that's what we'll do there. So I'll show you right now how quick it is. And that's done. So it's that easy. Now you could persevere trying to flick it onto your other hand, but really, that's just a bit of plastic coat hanger. So now I can attach him in there, and then plug the camera onto the other end, which is down there, looking at the screen. That's right. Presto, bang, we have 4 cameras hooked up. And that's that. Simple. It's upside down. There we go. So, yeah, 1 camera, ready to go. I've decided to temporarily power it via the cigarette lighter, the 12 volt outlet here, which are rated to 120 watts at 12 volts, which is 10 amps. And I'm looking at pulling in 2 amps. A moment ago it was 2.6, which is pretty high current draw, really, especially if you're thinking about running this 24/7 off your house batteries. So just to keep that in mind, it is drawing around about 2 amps, a system like this. Cheers. Now, I'm a big fan of the dash mat. The dash mat is a material gotta see me. The dash mat is a material covering that you buy as an accessory that goes across your dash here. And I love them for one reason, and that is the window glare, the windscreen glare that you get. And to demonstrate, you can see, this is the front camera, which is located just here. Okay, so the front camera, half of the screen is this dash, which is really quite deep. Okay, but see how the other half is the reflection of the dash, which I hate. It does my head in. And anything light coloured, such as this, reflects even more so. So you see some trade guys driving around with their notebooks and their A4 pads and all that sort of stuff, and it's all reflecting in their driving view, and I hate that. So I'll be getting a dash mat here, which is a, it's sort of non-reflective, and I dare say I'll have to make one up myself, because guaranteed the one that comes with this will have these cutouts, so you can still use these as trays and drawers. But I'll make mine so that they cover the whole lot. They'll have a little cutout, which is then a flap. So anything white that's in there is actually got a dash mat flap over it. So this all stays black, and the blacker it is, the less reflection you get up here. So that's the plan. Okay, another feature I really like about these this brand, and you do see it on other ones, and it's something you should be mindful if you want to go down this route of having a vehicle DVR, is in my other van, which is just over the road there, there's the 360 view camera. Okay, it's a little, the little box is about 3 times the thickness of the remote control and half as wide again. But if you have a power failure in your van, or you turn it off, it stops the recording straight away. The SD card stops, and there's no buffer time. But with this one, okay, I've got it powered off temporarily off the 12 volt there, and you have these indicator lights as to what features or functions are in operation. So there's the GPS, the recording, and the power button. Now there's no network at the moment, but the thing about this is if I turn this off now, what I'll do right here, oh yeah, there we go. Alright, you'll notice that these lights stay on for, okay, 1 minute 24, but they stay on for quite a bit of time, and what this does is it allows it to shut down the recording safely, and the power will eventually die out. So what's essentially in there is a capacitor that stores enough charge to shut down and write to the hard drive correctly that the recording file has finished. Now if it doesn't have that feature in the one you're looking at, the last file that you record when there's a power cut off might be corrupted, or may not play back, and that might be the one that you want, in particular if it's a car accident. So while we're talking, the power's still being switched off, and we've still got power stored in here, so that should that recording be that's ensuring that that last file is written and closed off correctly. So it's still got power, and we've been recording probably for another minute. So look for that feature in whatever one you go with. Okay, it's just gone off now. So that's to me, that's sort of important. It sort of means that the system is stable, and just a bit more quality, really, and less headache down the road. If you've got corrupted files, it's a bit of a drag. I've had it before. Okay, bye.